In this video, I'll show you how to make the neon light effect. Just like in the last video, we don't need any special overlays. We're going to create our neon just by using the shape tools. To begin, let's make a circle that we can use. So I'll just select the ellipse tool. And then I'm going to click and drag out a flat circle like this. For this circle, I want it to have a white stroke going around it and no fill. So I'm going to click right here to make the fill none. And then I'll click on the stroke color and I'll make it white. Then we can go ahead and increase the stroke up here in the context toolbar. With that all set, we can go ahead and add some layer effects to this circle. So I'll go down here and click on FX. And then we can go ahead and add two different effects. First, I'm going to add an outer glow to create some fuzzy lighting around this neon circle. So let's go ahead and increase the radius to create that fuzzy lighting. I think this looks good, but I'm going to increase this to 250, and then I'll press Enter to make it extra fuzzy. Then I'm going to change the color. So here's where we get to choose what color the neon will be. Looking at this picture, I can see we have a lot of orange colors in the background, and her skin has orange tones in it. To contrast that, I'm going to look at our color wheel and go to the color orange, and then go straight across from that to choose the neon color. You can use the color wheel in this way, going to the opposite colors, anytime you want to add extra contrast. So I'm just going to drag this around to create that blue color. And luckily for us, by default, the outer glow effect uses the screen blend mode, which looks really good for brightening everything up in this outer glow. And the second layer effect I want to add is just a little bit of blurring. The circle looks very sharp right now, but if we blur it just a little bit, I think it will look more fuzzy and natural. Okay, with that finished, we can go ahead and use the Move tool to adjust how our circle is positioned. I'm going to tilt mine just to make it a little fun, and I'll bring it up a little bit. Okay, now that we have our circle all set up, we can go ahead and mask the circle right here to remove it from overlapping her head. I'll just click on the mask button, and then we can go ahead and paint to remove this. So I'm going to change my color to black, and then we can go ahead and zoom in and paint. Right now my flow is a little low. I'm just going to increase that all the way. And with the edges looking good, I'll just use a larger brush to remove the rest. Now that the neon circle is looking great, it's time to add some light reflected onto our model. But before we carefully paint on light and color, I want to see what blend mode we should use. So just to experiment, I'm going to add a new pixel layer. Then I'm going to choose a blue paint color, and I'll just roughly paint this over her face. Now we can take a look at the different blend modes to see which one we should use. If we use multiply, that looks way too dark. It's not reflecting some nice bright light, so that one doesn't work. If we use screen, it is reflecting a lot of light, but we're losing a lot of her features underneath. Overlay is probably the best so far, but it still looks pretty dark. So I think I'm actually going to use soft light. You can see that this has the blue light on her face, but we can still see some brightness, and we can see her orange skin tone coming through. So now that we have that set up, I'm just going to delete this pixel layer and I'll add a new one, and then I'll set it to soft light. So now as I paint, we'll add blue color onto her face, And I'm just going to lower the flow. That way I can gradually add this color. So first I'll just do an even wash of this color over her face. Then with a smaller brush, I'm just going to add extra onto one side. Then I'm going to add this onto her shirt as well with a larger brush. And then with a smaller brush, I'm just going to add this to some of the lighter areas. By adding this color, especially to the lighter areas, I think this just makes it look really nice. All right, now that she has the right colors, it's time to add a little bit more light to our model. I'm going to add a curves adjustment, and I'm going to brighten this up. I'll just invert this layer with Command or Control I. And then using white paint, I'm going to add this brightness onto our model. So first, I'm just going to take a larger brush to add a little bit more light to our model in general. Remember to use a low flow for this. We don't want her to become really, really bright, but just a little added brightness will look good. And then with a smaller brush, I'm going to enhance some of the highlights that our model naturally has. She naturally has more light on this part of her face. So while adjusting my brush as I go, I'm just going to brighten those areas of her face. Then I'm going to do the same for her shirt. So we already painted on these wrinkles. Now we're going to paint light on these wrinkles. So any light areas you see, just add a little extra light to them. And now that we've done that, we can see the before and after of adding this lighting. And I forgot to show you, but here's the before and after of the color. These have both made such a big difference to make it look like she's really in this picture with the neon around her. So to finish this effect, I actually want to darken everything around our model to make her stand out even more. So I'm just going to add a curves adjustment, and I'll make this nice and dark. I'll invert this with Command or Control I. And then I'm going to use a larger brush to paint this around the edges of our photo. And now here's the photo with that darker ambiance. I think this looks really nice. So I'm just going to select all of these layers so we can see the final before and after of this effect. And now you know how to create the neon light effect. Great work with this video and with this chapter. In the next one, we're going to learn about how to use blend modes for graphic design.